And welcome back to another episode of the Geek Centurions with your boy Eli.
And Joe.
And we're talking about some recent leaks in the gaming world with the Geforce leak. I think that's what it's pronounced, yeah?
Yeah, NVIDIA's Geforce Now, which is I guess their streaming service. It's I guess you described it to me as a very similar to
Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, where you can just pay a certain amount and you can just stream games.
Mm-hmm.
If you to your whatever device you have, it seems, because it doesn't seem like it's limited to just PC. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but yeah, because you told me about this, and it sounds very interesting that I guess there was a huge leak of, I guess, games potentially that will be hitting the service, and some of these games are like already known, like released games.
Yeah.
Others have not been announced at all, and this could potentially be one of the biggest leaks in gaming in recent years.
Oh yeah, that's how most people are phrasing it. So that's why we're like, let's have a minute to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I will clarify, we're not gonna go through all of them.
Yeah, because there are a good chunk that are both that are just kind of like off, but also just not really interesting. Like, I think Gran Turismo 7 is one of those things, and I don't think we're going to spend like 10 minutes talking about Gran Turismo.
Yeah, because some of these are just like getting ported into it. So like God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, which is the new one that's coming out soon. Also, like, a lot of the stuff that's on there is to be taken not with a grain of salt, basically.
Yeah, with a grain of salt. I mean, because I think NVIDIA has made a statement that kind of says that the leak is true, but at the same time they sort of downplay it really hard. It's like, oh, these were just games where you're just testing out to see if they work or not. This doesn't confirm any. Listen, this doesn't, like, we're not saying any of these games exist. I mean, they, but like
maybe in a couple of years.
Maybe, we don't know. We were just doing testing.
How long did it take for GTA 6 to come out? We don't know, because we don't even think it's happening.
I mean, yeah, we're just gonna keep porting GTA 5 because GTA 5 Online.
Like, I'm not that big of a fan of GTA, and I'm like, give us GTA 6 already, goddammit.
I mean, no, you already got Red Dead back in, like, what, 2018? It took them like how many fucking years for that one? Exactly. You gotta wait till 2025 for a GTA 6 on the PlayStation 6. Exactly. Crazy.
Fair.
All right, but yeah, I mean, you want to just jump into this?
Yeah, because we're looking through the Reddit leak, the Reddit thread for it, so that makes it easier because they have it listed up very nicely. Thank you, guys. So if you guys want to check it out, go check that out on Reddit. It's pretty much on there, all the games on there. So we just mentioned one that we didn't find. Yeah, the Reddit's there, and it's Reddit, so it's open for everybody.
Yeah.
We're probably not gonna talk about the Sony games because most of them are just pretty much games that we already know about.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are sort of the games you would expect. It does. We do know that there isn't any sort of mention of Bloodborne or Spider-Man or Last of Us, any like those high-profile ones. Even though God of War and Horizon were noted in the list, so I find it interesting. Out of all the games that aren't mentioned that are like Sony-based, Bloodborne, because I feel like. Because that game was developed by the guys that did Dark Souls, right?
Yeah.
So I just find it very interesting that Sony, if this list is like truly accurate, that Sony is just holding that game back essentially. I don't know. It's just interesting. But yeah. I guess it's just how Sony is with the publishing their exclusive games on like PC or whatever, because I mean it's what is it, the original Horizon Zero Dawn just came out on like Steam like a couple months ago, and that game came out in like 2017, so
yeah. I'll never forget the reaction from most Sony fans, because they're like, no,
it's like, you're ruining the exclusivity. From Microsoft though, there are some interesting ones.
Yeah, like Gear 6 is one that was talked about, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I can see it coming that way.
I mean, yeah, because I'm pretty sure Gears 5 is already, like, you can buy it on the Microsoft Store, so them putting it on this GeForce Now service seems, like, possible. But I think the main big ones, I mean, there's also Halo 5 Guardians, which, I mean, I think it's the only Halo game that hasn't been, like...
It's not on PC.
No, because all the other Halo games are on PC via the Master Chief Collection, and which just leaves out Halo 5, which, I mean, it's always been like sort of a, will they actually just port it to Steam and stuff like that, or PC? But no one's really known, especially since Halo Infinite is coming to PC, so it's just sort of like we're missing just one game. Like, the PC user base is just missing one Halo game to play on PC.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, aside from that, they also have like a lot of projects that we don't know what they're about. Some say it's probably Fable, Contraband, or new Forza.
Yeah, because they're each labeled just Project Holland, Typhoon, and Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Project Holland one is what some people are suggesting is the next Fable game,
mm-hmm.
which, I mean, I mean, it's just sort of like rumor at that point. It's just very sort of, it's possible. I mean, like, given how Halo Infinite is coming to PC, I would not be surprised if they did the same for the next Fable game. And I mean, the last time we heard of Fable, we only got like a teaser for it and wasn't even gameplay. So
yeah,
it's definitely probably still way into development.
I mean, aside from that, most of the other games coming out from Microsoft are also coming out on Game Pass, so it shouldn't really be a surprise that something like Avowed and such would be in that sort of category, along with the Nvidia stuff. But I mean, if you go to the Square Enix, the leaks that are going for Square Enix, that one really catches my interest because one of them is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, I mean, I think like in promotional images and stuff, we do know that like FF7 Remake has like an exclusivity deal of like at least a year
mm-hmm.
on PlayStation. So we could potentially be seeing it coming into, say, Xbox or PC in maybe like the coming months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it was released last year.
Yeah,
and we just got the PS5 version for FF7 Remake. So yeah, it could be we could be seeing that stuff being ported because
mm-hmm.
Square Enix, like it doesn't like I mean we've seen it like break down its like exclusivity barriers before. Like obviously Kingdom Hearts
mm-hmm.
came out. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out on Xbox, and later just the entire like the collections and games have come out on Xbox as well. And I think, has it been on PC? Any Kingdom Hearts game? No, has it?
I don't think it has, but I'm pretty sure there's some right now.
I mean, it's possible. And obviously, there's Kingdom Hearts games on Switch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think what else is interesting is apparently
according to the leak.
According to this leak, is a Final Fantasy IX remake.
That's crazy if that's true.
See, my thing is, I think it might just be a remaster because, like, I'm pretty sure 8 got a remaster, HD remaster.
8 either did or is getting an HD remaster, so it makes sense that 9 would get a remaster.
Yeah, I could see them doing an HD remaster. I don't see them going full on remake because they didn't even do that for 10. Did they?
No. Well, there's also, remember there was rumors that made a Final Fantasy 10-3 game, but we don't know that about that.
Yeah, we do see Final Fantasy 16 being mentioned here in the leak. A Tomb Raider Anniversary. I assume that's just a sort of next gen port of all 3 Tomb Raider games, I guess.
First games.
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of remasters, according to the leak, there's a Chrono Cross and a Final Fantasy Tactics remastered. Now, I've never played Chrono Cross. I mean, I'm down to play it if it comes out. But Tactics is like one of the most well-regarded Final Fantasy games out there.
Mm-hmm. I think the Chrono Cross thing is just definitely probably puts a lot of people who played Chrono Trigger being like, yo, are we getting...
It's been so long.
It's been 3,000 years. Are we getting something about Chrono... just something related to the series. I just need to know. And I think the last one, which I'm pretty sure just
It's probably not happening.
probably not happening, but it's on this list. It's Kingdom Hearts 4, which I don't know. I mean, having played Kingdom Hearts 3, it is sort of left on sort of a bit of an open note where the series.
What happened to Sora?
Yeah, and there is like a sort of like next continuing chapter with stuff. Because I'm pretty sure like Kingdom Hearts 3 was just the end of this one saga they did. And you know Nomura has obviously wants to make more. I mean, heck, they did like a fucking rhythm game for the Switch or whatever. But I don't know, like considering just how long it took to get to Kingdom Hearts 3,
how much build up they've made.
Yeah, I don't see Nomura just immediately jumping to 4, especially since he is like heavily involved with the Final Fantasy VII remake. So this Kingdom Hearts 4 being
Could have sworn he was only there for the first one. Could have sworn. I might be wrong.
I mean, he's the director of the first part of the remake.
Yeah.
I don't see them replacing him.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I don't. This could be one of those that it was potentially just testing stuff. Maybe just a Kingdom Hearts game, but not necessarily Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't know.
You said something that was funny the other day. It was like Kingdom Hearts 4D or something like that.
Yeah, like how there's Kingdom Hearts 3D for the 3DS. You thought it was Kingdom Hearts 3, but no, it's 3D Dream Drop Distance, bitch. Get the fucking... But it still progresses the storyline, so if you don't play it, you're fucked.
You mean like every other spin-off game they came out with?
Yeah, pretty much. We got Capcom next, which only have like 4 titles, but one of them is... I think we already expected one, Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, especially since like their recent announcement for like some characters. What was his name? Luke, the guy who they're touting as the future of the Street Fighter games.
Yeah, like
Alex,
like the last DLC character for
Yeah.
Street Fighter 5 is they've hinted at as being sort of like one of the, like the new faces for the franchise. So, I mean, we kind of know that Capcom is just gonna make a Street Fighter 6. I've heard rumors of just of issues with development, and that's the reason why we got an extended like a 5th season for Street Fighter 5. But I mean, that's not surprising. What is a big one, I think, is a Resident Evil 4 remake.
Oh yeah, because Resident Evil 4 is like considered one of the best, especially for GameCube, one of the best games to come out from Resident Evil.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely touted as one of the best. It gets re-released all the time on different consoles, and obviously Capcom has been on a roll of just remaking their games, the Resident Evil games, with Resident Evil 2 and now 3. So clearly the next one up is 4, and there have been rumors of that. So seeing Resident Evil 4 on here just sort of more or less continues the confirmation that yes, they're working on it. Will it come out soon? We have no fucking idea.
No, I'm lying. Those games take a while.
And
plus, you got to think about the development of 8.
Yeah, 8 also probably took quite a bit out of them, right? The other 2 Capcom games were just Dragon's Dogma 2, which
I'm surprised it took that long to get a sequel.
Well, isn't the guy that made it the guy that was working on Devil May Cry?
Oh, you're right.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Surprised they don't Devil May Cry 7, but I'm sure. I mean 6.
And Monster Hunter 6, I guess, which I think should. I'm guessing it's sort of like the follow-up for World. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure World is technically 5, but it's called Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Because I think...
I need to get back on that game. It's been so long.
I mean, yeah. But besides that, Take-Two, which owns Rockstar and some other games, is also on this list. And
they're making some remasters, apparently, from this leak. So, like, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, again, games that, I was never that big of a GTA fan. Because I was like, I mean, I don't know. It seems more like a game I would just want to do random stuff than actually, progress in the story. But I mean, I might be wrong. I've never really put full attention to GTA. But aside from that, I'm happy for everyone who's excited for those games.
I mean, yeah, because at least it's something. Like, even if it's like remasters of these old games, at least it's like something different from GTA 5, which I mean, obviously it's been like fucking forever with those games. I guess like there's also a BioShock remaster.
Leading into a new BioShock for 2022. So we don't know how that's coming. That's gonna work out.
I mean, yeah, that's I mean, it's interesting. They haven't really done much with the BioShock IP in general, so maybe maybe a remaster might help push a support for the next one. But that's interesting. EA is definitely it's interesting. A sort of remaster for Mirror's Edge to take advantage of new technology, which I mean, that's...
I mean, how long was the gap between 1 and 2?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. I don't know when the first one came out. I think did the first one come out in 2007? It might have come out in 2007.
Yeah, it feels like that was the right year for that kind of game.
Yeah, and I don't know when the second one came out.
The second one came out recently, in a couple of years ago, because I remember that was like a big thing. It's like, oh my god, Mirror's Edge 2. But I mean, those games were pretty gorgeous looking, so I'm not surprised that they want to like update with the graphics with the remaster.
Yeah, and the next two from EA are certainly interesting. One is an Untitled Respawn game, and the second is Titanfall 3.
I mean, I don't know about the Untitled Respawn game. That could be anything. But also, Titanfall 3, yes, please. My God, I love Titanfall 1 and 2. I really want 3.
I mean, yeah. I guess fans of the Titanfall series have always been sort of worried that because Apex Legends, which is more or less a spinoff of the Titanfall series, has taken off and really blown up, and it's a battle royale shooter. A lot of those fans were like, "Are we still gonna get a Titanfall 3 though? Like, please." Because I think, granted, like Titanfall 2, it didn't sell that well. Although,
I think that could be attributed to EA's marketing.
EA's marketing and just release. Because I'm pretty sure Titanfall 2 came in between that year's Call of Duty and Battlefield 1.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
No, you are correct. Titanfall 3 came out in between those two games, and a lot of like sort of video game news medias were like, "What the hell? This is gonna ruin the game."
I mean, I think almost everybody was like, "You're not only like granted." Like EA was probably thinking, Battlefield is Battlefield's a completely different game to Titanfall, so they shouldn't.
One's in World War I, and one's in the far distant future that we will never get to.
Yeah, it's probably that probably wouldn't siphon off players, but obviously releasing after a Call of Duty game, I don't know. It's like they're all still FPS games, so they still have a shared pool. And when you have the two biggest FPS games in the market duking it out, and then you release your other FPS game right in between them.
Which, remember, this is the first time they're releasing it on multi-platform because the first game was exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah, so
and really didn't garner. It was popular, but it wasn't popular enough to garner enough attention for it to be like competing in between those two games.
Yeah, so it really was sort of it seemed like they sort of just left it out to the wolves, but I mean, it's still a great game. It improved a lot on the first one, including a single player story, which I mean a lot of people liked. But yeah, hopefully, I mean I also agree with you. I hope that they are making a Titanfall 3 because that would be kind of dope, especially because while Apex is sort of a spin-off. Both Titanfall and Apex do play differently enough, and obviously you have the giant robot aspect to it. So as for the Untitled, I guess, Respawn game, the thing is, like, some people are saying it might be Fallen Order 2, but the thing is that you know, Lucasfilm Games is a thing again, and essentially the license between EA and the Star Wars brand is over.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know if EA is willing to like, I guess, try to get like the license back just to make a Fallen Order 2, but I mean, who knows?
I mean, Fallen Order 1 was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was very like Dark Souls light, from my understanding.
A little bit, yeah, and some exploration aspects as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Bandai Namco apparently is from the corners of the league. They're making a Tekken 8, which maybe, I don't know. I feel like it's a little too early to make Tekken 8.
I don't know. Tekken 7? I guess I'm gonna say it came out slightly earlier in the
2010s.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it came out in the arcade scene in Japan first before making it to consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, I think 2015 was the arcade release, and then the console release was in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's been a couple years.
3 to 4 years, basically.
Yeah. And we haven't heard any much announcement for like new DLC for Tekken 7. So I mean, I don't know. It's possible, but I always assumed like they would just go to like a Tekken Tag 3 first.
Mm-hmm. Or Tekken Cross Street Fighter. They did say they're still working on it, and they just need to find the right time.
I mean, I guess it's. I mean, it'd be possible, but I'm not entirely sure they still want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for a Tekken 8. In all honesty.
Yeah. Sega apparently saying according to the leak, Sega is bringing out Bayonetta 3, which I could have sworn was already out.
No, dude, it's still like they only announced it back in like the Game Awards a couple years ago, and they're still working on it. It's interesting because I imagine Bayonetta is kind of sort of like technically a Nintendo franchise at this point, because obviously the whole reason Bayonetta 2 came into existence was because Nintendo sort of funded it essentially and made it exclusive to the Wii U. And as far as we know, Bayonetta 3, when it was announced, it seems to most likely be on a Nintendo system. So that is weird if Bayonetta 3 decides to also be on PC. But I mean, I don't exactly. I mean, I don't think Bayonetta 2 ever got released on anything else outside of the Wii and the Wii U and the Switch.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an interesting.
You double checking this in the case?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's still it's Bayonetta 2 still only on like Nintendo consoles. So that is it. It would be an interesting thing to do, right?
Yeah. Which made me think maybe it's not true, because like, why would you release 3 and not the first 2?
Right, especially the first one, because the first one was released on both PlayStation 3 and Xbox. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's just kind of it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. What other games are there? Apparently, we're getting a Arkham Knights Remastered.
Oh yeah, the last Arkham game.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's interesting. I mean, it wants to take advantage of the new console, new graphics and stuff.
No, apparently Atlas is also doing Catherine Full Body and Shin Megami Tensei 5 for this, but I still don't know if as I say, like, that's how I was saying, we'll take it with a grain of salt, because I don't think those games are coming anywhere else.
I mean, Catherine Full Body, probably. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is the interesting one, because as far as I know, the Shin Megami Tensei series, and we're not talking about Persona.
No.
the Shin Megami Tensei series has been mostly on Nintendo consoles. I don't think I've ever seen like a port or whatever for PC or any sort of like streaming service like that. I mean, Persona. I mean, it's always been on like PlayStation, but I think recently Persona 4. I think it was last year, got ported to Steam or whatever. Which
wasn't there a Switch version?
No, I don't. There's not a Switch version of any Persona game. I think the only Persona games that were on Nintendo are like the Q series or whatever they're called. But yeah, it's super intriguing if that was the case, and not like say I don't know Persona 5 on PC, which I mean
sounds like fun, but you doubt it. Fun in a couple of years.
Yeah. And I guess the last bit of the list is mainly just a bunch of other sort of games that are sort of like nebulous. Like these are like, because if you think some of the stuff we were just saying now was grain of salt.
These are definitely grain of salt.
Yeah, huge grain of salt with these ones.
Yeah, we're not, and again, we're not going through all of them. We're going to go through some of them. So like the first one on the list would be Injustice 3: Gods Will Fall.
Yeah, because I remember hearing...
that NetherRealms is going to be focusing on the next Mortal Kombat game rather than jumping straight into another Injustice game.
Yeah, and there's also the rumors of them having the Marvel license. So a lot of people were just thinking about, are they making a Marvel fighting game? Or are they going to do a Marvel versus DC game? But, I mean, they said it themselves, what they want to, well, it's been said that they're going to be working on the next Mortal Kombat, which, I mean, is interesting because for, like, the past couple of years, NetherRealm has always been sort of alternating between the two.
Yeah, because it was MK9.
And then it was the first Injustice, then MKX, then Injustice 2, and now MK11. So
would mean we should have gotten Injustice 3 by now.
At least an announcement for something like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think the other one that's pretty grain of salt is Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD. Which, I mean, yeah, I don't know what Konami...
Yeah, Konami's very...
It's very floaty with the Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, ever
license.
since they kind of took Kojima out of the equation, there's been really no much of a Metal Gear anything.
Yeah, and I know there's like rumors of like Metal Gear Solid 1 like remake that was gonna happen, but I don't know. That still seems like I guess a pipeline dream. It seems like a lot of hearsay, right?
And Death Stranding is also probably getting getting a PC port.
I mean,
Dirt just got.
I could see that. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Death Stranding itself is already on Steam anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if the director's cut does get ported at some point. I guess the other one I find here that's very surprising is Mario and Rabbids, because
that seems weird. That seems weird.
That's a Super Nintendo thing. It's fucking Mario.
They don't like to let that property go.
They don't usually like to see Mario on a different system.
They're fine with everybody else's, but they don't want theirs to go there.
Something like that, yeah. So I would find that very weird. I mean, I know it is developed by Ubisoft, but I don't know.
It sounds like there's a lot of licensing thing going around.
Yeah. And the rest of these are sort of just... I guess they're not exactly that important. I will say, I guess Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 might be on this, is a potential on this list. Which, I mean, I can kind of see. Obviously, the first two were multi-plat, and then Nintendo just somehow got the fucking rights to make the third one. So I could totally see them just being like, eventually just sort of like, yeah, let's put it on like this service.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just do that.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's about a good chunk of the list that we wanted to talk about.
I guess we can talk about whether or not this is true.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Like leaks, right? Now, I guess I'm sort of the opinion of this being sort of potentially true, at least in some form.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Nvidia's statement of like this is like acknowledging that the leak is somewhat real, and then being like some of these games were just for testing. We aren't sure that they'll be on the service or not. All right, so I think a lot of those would potentially be say like Bayonetta 3 or the Mario plus Rabbids, just seeing if games like those could run on their service, right? But a lot of these other ones, like Resident Evil 4 Remake, that's been rumored for a while and been sort of talked about, and I could definitely see that being, like that seems to be more, like every time people talk about a Resident Evil 4 Remake, it seems more and more likely that it is a real thing and it will happen. It's just a matter of when.
Especially since like they've been doing like all these remakes for the first 3 games. You feel like 4 has to be on its way.
Yeah, and so I totally see them like wanting to remake 4, and I think probably the reason why we haven't heard like an announcement for it is just because they kind of want to get it done right, because I think for a lot of people 4 is the best, and they don't want to like, I guess, put out a subpar product. Because from what I heard, Resident Evil 3 like did some changes that some people didn't like about it. So maybe they're sort of just rethinking how they want to do their remakes, and that's why they're probably taking a while for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Again, I feel like something like Kingdom Hearts 4 is interesting if it is real. I don't think it is, because again, I feel like Nomura is too busy with FF7 Remake, and the last time
project he's on.
Yeah, and the last time he was sort of shuttled with different projects, we ended up with a prolonged development of Final Fantasy 15, because he was the director of that. Yeah. But also they announced Kingdom Hearts 3, so he was double decking stuff. So
also you gotta remember those games were announced before anything was going on.
Yeah,
because they were just cutscenes. That's all they were.
Yeah.
You go look at the first announcement for Kingdom Hearts 3 and look at look how the graphics are for that game and look how it is now. Those are 2 different games.
Yeah. I think the Sony list, I think all of it seems pretty legit to me.
Yeah. Because like they've made note that some of these games will be coming to PC at some point. Like, yes, they're exclusive, but they're timed.
Yeah, like I think Sony sort of is taking, I guess, a Microsoft route in terms of like, all right, so we could probably make a lot of more sales on our software because we already have like a pretty substantial user base and people buying our consoles. But we could make an extra couple of bucks just porting some of these big games to PC. And granted, like there is no like timetable for a lot of these games coming out. It's just a list of games. Granted, some do have, I guess, tentative release dates. Obviously, the BioShock 2022, like, yeah, that's not its actual title, but it's more or less like this is when it's coming out,
or this is when you probably hear something about it.
Yeah, so there is no like set timetable, and I could totally see a lot of the Sony titles being like real because, again, it took them quite a bit of time for the original.
Also, none of the ones that are mentioned are like new games.
Yeah, a lot of them. I guess the newest one on the list would be Returnal and like Gran Turismo 7, and as well as Horizon Forbidden West. But that game is coming out this year. Yeah. Right. So by the time,
is it this year or next year?
No, I'm pretty.
I'll double check it.
Yeah, double check it. But I'm pretty sure it's definitely coming out either the end of this year or early next year. Point is, it's coming out, right? So, and I could totally see this service not launching with it, but like when it comes out on when Horizon Forbidden West comes out, probably a year later, it will come to this service.
February 18th, 2022.
Yeah, okay, so I was sort of right.
Mm-hmm.
It is coming out next year, early next year. So, if this service launches within like a year or two, we could definitely see it on there.
Yeah. I mean, also there's the thing where like they're talking about something like Titanfall 3, which one I'm very excited for if it is true. And again, I say if it is true, but I've also understand that a lot of the Respawn team are currently focusing on Apex Legends and all this stuff because like they're still going out with new seasons and there's even rumors of more characters coming out. So obviously, that if it was true, I'm not against it, but you also have to be realistic with some of these stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like they probably have a big enough team to pull off a Titanfall 3. Because I mean, Jedi Fallen Order came out when Apex was already released, and they were still making content for it. So clearly, there's like two sort of teams at Respawn at this point.
Mm-hmm.
One working on Apex Legends and its and new content for every month or whatever, or every season. And there's probably like a B team that having finished Jedi Fallen Order are like, okay, let's do something, right? So, which could lead to why there is both Titanfall 3 and a potential, I guess, brand new Respawn game.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I gotta take it with a grain of salt because I can't be excited to say like Tokyo Game Show's coming out in a couple weeks, and then maybe I don't know what's after that. Say Game Awards and E3 next year, and they're like, there's been still no announcement for Titanfall 3. I'm gonna keep myself reserved for stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. But I totally understand why everyone would be totally excited for that. I mean, there's also games in here that like we know are coming out, and we know they're at least working on. We just don't know when this release date. Heck, we just talked about Street Fighter 6 because like they've talked about it coming out like way back in season 5, especially with the introduction of Luke, who's coming out sometime this year.
No, he's going to be out by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure November.
Yeah, and we know how they tend to work. So we know that's coming out. I mean, there's only a couple questions of whether will this one be a console exclusive. From the looks of it, might not be, but we don't know. Because remember when we all thought Street Fighter 5 was also coming to Xbox and all the other systems, but nope, Sony only, bitch. Yeah,
because Sony paid to speed up the process.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, who knows with that one? Like, yeah, Street Fighter 6 it has been rumored for a while and it's sort of a known quantity, especially. Yeah, and I agree with you. So it makes 100% sense for its inclusion in this list.
But we still don't know much about it, though. That's my thing.
I mean, yeah, I could see them maybe announcing, we get first looks of it maybe by early next year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I feel like a good chunk of this list is probably legit in some way.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking to be like probably like a huge leak, and even if like half of these games aren't like legit, it's still kind of like a pretty big way to like leak something, because usually I feel like when people talk about gaming leaks, it's usually just like
this and that, like something small that no one will care about. Well, not care about, but like it wouldn't cause as much uproar. Yeah, especially from the people that are distributing it.
Yeah, because like this is on a level of like saying like, hey, these are all the games that are going to be announced at all the E3 press conferences. Here you go, right? That would never happen, right?
Or at least they wouldn't be so like in your face, like, hey, Cyberpunk, that's what's coming out, the new trailer. I'm like, oh, Cyberpunk, we gotta look out for Cyberpunk, or just be like, it's gonna be a new trailer with a Keanu Reeves lookalike. Because I remember my friend of mine told me he read a leak about some of the supposed games coming out, and Cyberpunk was one of those, and he read it as like some trailer with a John Wick looking guy, and was like, oh, it's Cyberpunk. That's what they meant when the trailer came out. So it's not impossible for something like that to happen, but also it's like they wouldn't be so, face front with it.
Yeah, because I guess I get what you mean. At the same, but these leaks are very much like they're kind of straight to the point, but at the same time they're still super vague because they don't have release dates at all. They're just a bunch of names. Yeah,
and remember, some of them are. They even said that some of these are tentative.
Yeah, so it adds a lot of speculation into the mix, and it's sort of just you don't really know what to think.
No, you don't.
If are these real? Are they not? Who knows? We can't even know. But as far as Nvidia has said, the list has some merit, right? Which is I guess the one big factor about it. Like if Nvidia is sort of just saying, yeah, some of it is kind of true, then you're just sort of the wheels start turning in your head. It's like, if some of this is true, what is the truth? I must search now, right? I must search and try to put a lot of these clues together, and I feel like we have to at least to a certain extent for some of these, like Street Fighter 6 and Resident Evil 4 remake and stuff. But at the same time, I feel like there's obviously some that are very interesting. Actually, I forgot we didn't mention this one.
Go for it.
The Half-Life 2 Remastered is apparently on this list. To which I don't think that's gonna be now. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, yes, Valve released Half-Life Alyx, which is a VR game, but I think Valve has been very notoriously complacent with their IP because they have the Steam service, which makes them way more money than releasing a Half-Life 3 game would do. But I don't know, maybe Half-Life Alyx made enough sales for them to be like, okay, maybe let's remaster the Half-Life 2 games and see where that gets us. I mean, it's a possibility, but I think I don't know. It'd be very weird for that to happen, especially if it's on this Geforce Now service. Yeah, you would think they would just keep that to their Steam platform.
Exactly.
But I don't know. Maybe maybe they just want to just get it out to as many people. But regardless of that, I think this list has some merit to it. I think it's probably one of the more credible leaks I've seen in my time. Because I will admit, I have seen leaks in my lifetime on the internet.
They're no bullshit.
Yeah, like the infamous Grinch Leak.
Yeah, I knew you were going there.
I heard about it, but I didn't know the full context. And obviously for me, when it comes to Smash Brothers, I do not look at leaks usually because half of the fun of new Smash characters is not knowing, right? So I was very much I heard about this Grinch Leak. I was like, I don't know the context. All I know is that apparently it has something to do with being leaked with some Grinch movie stuff, and that's what made it legit. And I was like, I'm not gonna look into this. I'm gonna wait till the last Ultimate direct before the game comes out to hear about it. And then I saw everything, and then I went back to see, okay, let's see if this leak was real or not. And they were like, Banjo-Kazooie, Geno, fucking Shadow. We're getting 8 fucking characters all at once. Isaac's gonna be here, and it's like, oh, you poor naive fools. And I knew the leak was fake because of one glaring omission. It didn't have a new Pokemon character. If there's one trend that Smash follows, is that there's always a brand new Pokemon character because the Pokemon Company has so much power that of course they put up a new Pokemon character. You'd think, did you fools really believe there wouldn't be a Gen 8 Pokemon or a Gen 7 rep in Smash Ultimate? You fools. That's why Incineroar just crushed your dreams. And then Piranha Plant shat on it. Although to be fair, we did get Banjo in the end though. Yeah. sadly, Isaac.
That was the funniest thing, though. Isaac was like,
it's like, no, he's an assist trophy again. Damn it! And then
because I remember someone was very excited about that Grinch Leak, and when we showed him, a friend of a friend, that we both went to college with. So we showed him the trailer because he hadn't seen the trailer. You know, the big announcement trailer, the one that hadn't seen and all of them.
Yeah.
And it showed off Isaac. He was like, "No,
Shadow's dead. Fucking Skull Kid's assist trophy again. Gino, there's hope." And then Sephiroth came from above with his giant Murasawa sword and stabbed Gino straight through the heart.
Like Aerith.
Yeah, and it took his fucking Smash invite. It's like, it's mine now, bitch. You're stuck in me costume hell forever.
Oh, that's already
but I mean, you know.
To be fair, you've been right on most of those predictions.
I feel like I've been semi right. I think in these past two, because I mean, you know, because I was
When are you gonna reveal you have a direct line of Sakurai and you tell them what characters you want?
If I did, I would immediately tell them to just give me Master Chief, and you know, that's it. I mean, you know,
I wouldn't ask for more.
I would be like, your job is done, sir. Go and rest. You know,
just like Chief, just get in your chamber and just
get in the pod and, like, you know, we'll wake you when we need you again, Mr. Sakurai, but rest. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's kind of funny how like I get excited for things that most of the Smash fans get very irritated about.
I remember when Byleth was announced, you were like, "Ha!"
I was like, people were like, "There's no way they're gonna add another Fire Emblem character. We have Chrom. Look at this roster already." And it's like, I don't know, man. Byleth would be pretty fucking neat. Although I was personally leaning towards Edelgard for reasons that I will not explain here. Story reasons, obviously. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Violet showed up, and I was laughing my ass off, because that's like, another Fire Emblem character. I'm gonna be loving the salty tears of every other fucking Smash fan who's like, "You motherfucker." Even back in Smash 4, during like the last trailer where they announced Corrin from Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I remember being like fucking ecstatic about it as well, because I was like, "Oh shit, oh my god, new Fire Emblem character, oh my god, I'm so excited." And then seeing everybody being like, "What the fuck? God damn it, Sakurai." But then, you know, Bayonetta was here, and it's like, oh, thank God, Bayonetta. Alright, clearly this won't have any adverse effects to Smash Brothers at all.
Clearly.
And she was super broken and ruined the Smash 4 competitive scene. So, but either way, yeah, I guess the point of this weird tangent is that
be wary of leaks.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, like, I'm usually not, I don't usually look at leaks that much, and I don't know, sometimes they can be fun a little bit, at least in like looking back at leaks, like the Grinch leak, and being like, "Ha, what a silly leak! Who would be an idiot to listen to this?" And other times you're sort of just like, "Holy shit! How did he know?
Mm-hmm.
How do they predict this?" Right? So, you know, yeah. So leaks are very sort of interesting, because yeah, sometimes I feel for some people that it ruins the shock and surprise. But I feel like for this leak, it's very much sort of like, some of these are very known quantities, and others are like, "Is this real? I need to know." It's like, now it's just sort of like, I don't need sleep. I need answers.
Yeah.
I need to now figure out which of these are real, because NVIDIA says that some of these are real, but which of these are real, you know? So I think this is like one of the more like fun leaks I've encountered, because it's very much sort of like what even is real here? Because there's very much, because I mean, there's quite a bit of games here that are like actually real games that have been announced, but just not for this service. And there's a bunch of other games that were never announced that, you know, are like piquing people's interests. right? So, it's been a very interesting couple of days having learned about these leaks and like going through all of them and just being like, what is real?
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, it's kind of the fun of leaks, though.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think like I said before, I'm privy to like not looking at a lot of leaks in general, just because, again, there is that sort of like surprise being ruined of like a game you didn't think was coming out, but it gets leaked, and you're like, oh hey, I'm happy that game's coming out, but I'd be more happier if I didn't know about it and it was announced and it was like,
yeah, the little excitement.
Yeah, because I know some people. I guess probably the most recent leak off the top of my head was Mario plus Mario Rabbids 2 was actually leaked by Ubisoft. On the I forget how it happened, but it was definitely leaked before Ubisoft was able to announce it.
Mm-hmm.
And that just sometimes happens on E3s. Is sometimes I guess retailers or whoever will sometimes just put those games listings up, right? Because like it's a new game, they got to put up like the leasing to like do pre-orders and stuff or whatever. And that somehow.
Hey, there was even a GameStop leak that I remember. That was like had like a whole bunch of games that were coming out with like tentative dates.
Yeah, I think that's happened before as well with like amiibos.
Yeah.
Like Breath of the Wild, I think back before it was announced, like the release date was announced, GameStop put up like amiibos and listing the date for when the game was going to come out, because we didn't know when the Switch was coming out or when Breath of the Wild was coming out.
Yeah.
Right? So people were like, okay, so is this like when the game is coming out, or are they selling the amiibos a week or two before the game comes out? Right? It was a very much sort of like a is this leaking the game? Which I mean, it did sort of leak the game's release date, but I mean, it was very much sort of a we still don't know. It's in a gray area, and I think this the GeForce Now list is very much in that same vein. It's like we know some of these are real.
Yeah.
But how many of these are real, and when are they coming out?
That's the question.
Yeah, that's the real like.
And it's fun to speculate, but it's also just like you said, fun to like be surprised. Like, remember when Soul Calibur 6 was announced? How hyped you and I were just by that one guy saying, "Do your souls still burn?" And then we're like, "Oh,
yeah," because it was Harada and Okubo, I think his name was, and they're talking about like announcing a new game, and it's like, okay, all right, I wonder what this is gonna be about, and obviously he says the line like,
I have one question.
Do your souls still burn? And it's like, oh fuck you.
You son of a bitch. And it's Mitsurugi versus Sophitia, because it's related to
like the two big sort of mainstays of Soul Calibur, right? And it's like, oh shit, it's Soul Calibur. Oh my god, new Soul Calibur. I thought it was dead. I thought Soul Calibur 5 killed the series. It's back.
Well, it almost killed the series.
Yeah, I mean, and Soul Calibur 6's rebound, it's made like 2 million sales. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. But just to end it on a note, once again, like Joey said, these are very gray area kind of leaks. Take it with a grain of salt. Some of these games we know are coming out already. Some of these games are like, okay, but like when though?
Yeah.
Are you being real with me though?
Yeah.
So aside from that, guys, let's hope for the best. Let's hope for all those games to come out, especially Titanfall 3. For the love of God, please, Titanfall 3. But if you enjoy what you heard, you can find us on any social media sites, specifically Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Geek Centurions. And on there, especially Instagram, where we were most active, you'll find a link tree to all of the podcasting sites that we are officially a part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox, and all the like. Also, we have a link to YouTube, so all you audio listeners out there can have put a face to the voice, so see how we look like. Not that handsome, sadly. Also, we have a link to our Patreon, so be on there to help us help us on there with anything that we want to do. Of course, we need support, and Patreon's the best way to do that. If not, downloads also help. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully these leaks mean something, and they don't. Well, that's just the tragedy of leaks, aren't they?
Yeah, because at the same time, there's tons of fake leaks out there. I mean, like I said before, the Grinch leak, super fake. And I think some people are still to this day just like, how do they fake that? I thought it looked so genuine. And it's like, you fools. You fools. You should have seen the signs.
Also Photoshop.
Yeah, I mean, Photoshopping is so advanced nowadays. There's a lot of good Photoshops out there where you're just like, wait a minute.
Hold up. Wait a tick.
Wait a second. Is this actually real?
Yeah.
So, that's how life is on the internet. You gotta like be prepared to like see stuff and be like, always have like the intuition of being like, this could be bullshit though, right?
Yeah.
Because like, people lie on the internet all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, always take leaks with a grain of salt.
Always take leaks with a grain of salt. Anyways, guys, you guys have a good one. It's me, your boy Eli.
It's been me, Joe.
We're Geek Centurions. You guys have a good one. Peace.